The Great Emu War of 1932, when soldiers battled birds. We've all heard of wars fought between nations, but have you ever heard about a war against emus? Welcome back to Immersive Fiction. Today, we're delving into a peculiar chapter in Australia's history, the Great Emu War of 1932. Yes, you heard it right, a war between humans and emus. Australia, after World War I, found itself in a unique battle. It wasn't with another country or group of people, but against a bird, the emu. The story begins in the aftermath of World War I. Large numbers of discharged farmers, heroes who served their country, were given land by the Australian government to start farming in Western Australia. But, as fate would have it, Australia faced tough times during the Great Depression of the 1930s. The Wall Street crash of 1929 hit hard, causing worldwide economic turmoil. Australia wasn't spared, experiencing years of high unemployment, poverty, and economic downturns. In 1929, the government encouraged these farmers to boost wheat crops, promising subsidies that unfortunately never materialized. Despite their efforts, wheat prices continued to fall. By October 1932, the situation reached a breaking point. Farmers, ready to harvest the season's crop, while simultaneously threatening to refuse to deliver the wheat. The farmers' difficulties took an unexpected turn. The peaceful countryside was disrupted by the arrival of approximately 20,000 emus. These birds, known for their long migrations, descended upon the farmlands after their breeding season. The birds started foraying into farm territories, especially marginal farming lands. As the emus roamed freely, the farmers faced a nightmare. Crops were consumed, fields were spoiled, and large gaps in fences allowed other nuisances like rabbits to enter, causing even more problems. Concerns raised by farmers regarding the birds destroying their crops led to the dispatch of an ex-soldier delegation to meet with the Minister of Defense. The minister readily agreed, but only under certain restrictions. The farmers would pay for the ammunition, provide food and housing, and the guns would only be used by military personnel. The Western Australian government would also finance the troop transport. Initially, things didn't go as planned. Heavy rainfall scattered the emus, making them elusive targets. Troops chasing down birds, local settlers attempting to corral them, but the emus were too clever. They split into small groups, making it nearly impossible to target them effectively. Even attempts with guns on trucks failed miserably. Frustrated, the Australian Army changed tactics, loading a gun on a truck. However, aiming from a moving vehicle proved to be a logistical nightmare. 6 days in, 20,500 rounds had been fired, and only around 200 emus were down. The situation became so dire that on November 8, the Australian House of Representatives discussed the emu operation. Fast forward to December, and finally, there was some success. The soldiers were killing about 100 emus per week, but controversy loomed. Desperate for a solution, the government introduced a plan. Farmers were armed, given incentives for each kill. It worked, and in 2 years, 57,000 emus were eliminated. Today, Australia doesn't control 20,000 emus, but the memory lingers. Farmers have adapted, installing fences to protect their crops. The Great Emu War may have been a feathered fiasco, but it's a quirky piece of history we remember. And that's a wrap on the Great Emu War. What are your thoughts on this bizarre chapter in Australia's history? Drop them in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video.